So welcome to probably one of the most important videos that you're ever going to watch as a trader. And the reason is not many people actually talk about this, the true reality of what it is to be as a trader, going through losing streaks, going through winning streaks. Yes, everyone likes to experience the good side, but no one out there really talks about the bad. And I hold myself up to this as well. Whenever posting on YouTube, it's all about educational concepts. It's all about the strategies that make you profitable, the winning trades that we've been in, and every single other influencer is going to be out there like that. But this video really is going to be breaking down the raw reality of what it is to be a trader, to go through these losing streaks and how to actually deal with them. Because let's be real, when you're out here on YouTube looking through any of these trading videos and you're cycling through different strategies and different concepts and all this sort of stuff, you still end up in the same position that you were. Now, you'd think that more knowledge would actually make you more profitable. But the reality is that it's quite the opposite. In fact, once you start to simplify things and make them better for yourselves and easier to understand and easier to comprehend and to then apply into a strategy, that's when things get easier. That's not what I'm going to be talking about here today. Today, I'm going to be addressing 99% of you guys watching these videos, and this addresses myself as well. And a message to my future self whenever I enter these types of pits of despair. January was a month of losing trades. 3 trades lost in a row, which is very, very rare for my system. And that's something where I've proven it over years and years of data to myself before I started to apply this around 2 years ago or so. And it's the first time since then that I've ever had a 3-loss trading streak. Now, that's one of the things where I had to really sit and think, okay, what am I doing wrong? Before we get into everything, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Diamant. I've been around here for quite a while. Some of you have probably watched some of the technical videos that I've been involved in and all this kind of stuff. But I guess this is the first time that I've really sat on a one-to-one basis with you guys and just speaking from my heart about what can actually improve your journey and what is improving mine as well. Not just some flashy gimmicks and some technical information or the final confirmation that's going to make you profitable. I've made plenty of them videos in the past. So it's going to be something entirely different. Now, as a trader, you're going to go through a particular path. You're going to start from the beginning and you're going to be learning all the concepts. You've got the education. The first dopamine hit you've got is completing that course. It's completing that set of videos where you finally understand everything. You get on the charts. In hindsight, you see one of the best setups that performs in relation to that strategy and you think, wow, it works. You then go on to do it in the live markets, whether you straight away go and open a prop firm challenge or you go and open a personal account, whether it's small, whether it's big, and you enter your first trade. It gives you that dopamine hit. Many of us have experienced that. You're in that winner's, what they say, beginner's luck. You've got that beginner's luck straight at the start of your journey and you're thinking, damn, this is actually going to work out. Then you start to continue with your trades and you start to see the losses pile up again and again and again and again. Now, one thing that every single one of you and myself included needs to understand is for everything in this universe, there's a cause and effect. Many of us just look at the effect. You look at the strategy, you look at the effect, the outcome of it. It's a winning trade. You then look at your entire journey. All you're trying to reach is that monetary value at the end. You're trying to make your first 100K. You're trying to make your first million. You're trying to maybe even make your first 10K a month. And that's the final goal you want. But you don't look at the other aspect. You don't look at the cause of it. How do we actually get to that point? Now, when thinking about losing streaks, the first thing you've got to identify is, yes, I am in a losing streak. What am I going to do about this? You then need to start going backwards. Start looking at the causes because there's a particular reason why you got to there. It's not Let me just tell you the truth. It's not because you just got manipulated. Yes, there may be times where that's happened, but there's a cause for that. There's a real reason why you were manipulated. Is it because your stop loss was perhaps too tight? Is it perhaps because you entered around a news event? Is it perhaps you entered not following your plan and you thought it was, all these types of things. There's a real cause behind everything. So let's just break it down. In January, I entered this 3 trading losing streak. Once it was done and I entered my 3rd trade, what did I do? The first thing I did is I took a step back. The worst thing you can do, that's step number 1, taking a step back. The worst thing you can do is to continue. Revenge trading is something that everyone has experienced. I've experienced this in the past where I've almost blown accounts simply because I have tried to make that win back or that loss back. I remember, and one of my good friends in the start of my journey, he's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. It was around summertime, and we had entered the gold trade simply because fundamentals were moving bullish, and we entered no stop loss, no nothing. A £500 account. It was very early on in my journey. And I had gone out on a holiday at that point, and I was on these theme parks and everything like that. Okay, the rides were good and all this. I didn't want to look at my my trades all day long. I thought, you know what? It's following fundamentals. It's going to hit in that direction. I get a call from my friend. I get a message from my friend. Another message, another message. Bro, the trade is going bad. The trade is going bad. As soon as that happened, I was like, damn, I don't know what to do. And this is the point that a lot of you are going to enter as well. You're fighting against your emotions. At that point, what did I do as a beginner? Naturally, I just kept the trade open. I had hope. Hope is the one thing that is the downfall of many traders. They enter a trade, their stop loss is initially 10 pips, it's 15 pips, whatever it is. And then the trade starts to get closer. It inches closer to their stop loss, closer and closer and closer. And what do they decide to do? They go against their plan and they push that stop loss. They push to 2 times, maybe even 3 times. So even if your risk management was okay initially, you're risking 1% or let's say 2% on a trade, you then eventually fall into your emotions and you think, no, this trade is going to go well. Now, what's the point of a stop loss? The point of a stop loss is you are essentially saying this trade should not go past this point. If it does, it means that this trade is invalidated. So your stop loss should never be too tight. Your stop loss should never be too wide. Because if it's too wide, you don't have too much faith. If it's too tight, you have too much faith. You need to have this kind of balance. With anything in life, you need to have a balance in whatever you do. But when it comes to trading, it's of utmost importance. So your stop loss doesn't need to be moved. If you take the loss, you take the loss. If you're scared of taking the loss, it's because you're scared that you have over leveraged. You are then going to enter a bit too much of a loss and you're going to lose too much money. That's one of your fears. The other fears is that the trade direction was correct, but your trade entry wasn't the greatest. That comes down to your system. Why are you going against your system? If you've got a checklist and a tiered plan that you can actually stick to, there should never, ever be a reason why you go against it. Now, this is for me why I entered this, can I say this low state at the end of January? Because I was entering these trades and I had full confidence in them. They were following the plan. Well, I can say for the first 2 trades. The first trade, I was coming back from this holiday period where middle of December to middle of January, I always decide to take it out. Why? Just to refresh and to reboot everything that I've got. Mentally, just build that foundation of what you got for the rest of the year. So the first trade, and this is something that every single one of you probably is going to be doing, is your first trade of the year, you want it to be a success. And you think to yourself, okay, this has to be it. So you wait for your A+ setup, or perhaps you don't even wait for your A+ setup. You enter, go straight to a loss. Okay, so you've started negatively now. You're thinking in your head, damn, this might not be going as well as expected. So you wait till your second trade, you follow your plan again, naturally, and you enter another loss. Okay, cool, 2 losses in a row. The third trade, you start to have that fear of missing out. You've just seen a trade that's passed you by. It followed your plan perfectly, but because of your fear of these 2 trades, you've now decided to miss that. So that's 3 potential trades that have not gone too well, or you have actually missed out on. So the 4th trade is coming up. Well, in reality, the 3rd trade of entry. And you enter something that's subpar. The A+ setup is not there. You enter on something that does not follow your plan at all. And that's exactly the trap that I went into as well. Why did I enter this trap? Well, it's very simple. It's very, very rare that I enter such large losing streaks. And for me, 3 trades in a row is a large losing streak. Because with something that I've optimized to be 60 to 80% win rate over years and years of data, and I know I only have 1 or 2 entries a week with my system because I'm looking for them A+ setups, it affected me. And what did I do at that point in time? Because of my experience and because I've gone through losing streaks, not before the system, but in previous times, years back, I realized every time I enter a losing streak, I need to take a step back. So that's step number 1. taking a step back. Step number 2 is actually identifying and journaling what is it you need to do to improve these trades. So the only way you're going to do that is if you actually screenshot your trades, you look at your entry points, you look at your take profit points, you look at your stop loss management, you look at the trend, the context behind it and everything to see how you could have actually improved that. Now I'm going to give you a little tip that will really make a big difference when you're journaling, you're losing in trades. ECT, very, very simple. Execution, context, and trade management. This is something that has been a game changer for me. And the reason for that is because I understand, okay, I will actually evaluate how good was my execution. Was it a 10 out of 10? Was it a 5 out of 10? Whatever. How good was the context? How good was the trade management? I will tell the honest truth, most likely than not, most of your trades are going to come from your context. It's very rarely your execution because you've got the same trade management, but it's the trend, it's the things behind the trades, the fundamentals and all this type of stuff. If you are losing due to the trade management, you seriously need to improve your discipline because trade management should be the simplest thing that will keep you profitable. If your risk management is on point and your entry management is on point, as well as your profit taking system or anything like that, you should not be entering these losing streaks because of trade management. Generally speaking, it will come down to your context. Now, when I actually looked back at my trades, I saw what I did in the beginning of the month was this. I started from the 15th of January. So for them 2 weeks prior, I saw my other friends and my other mentees and all this kind of stuff. They were entering trades, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to wait for the fresh start. I'm going to get into the trades with that fresh foundation. Once that actually happened, I started to see that optimum conditions were not there. The context wasn't great, but I was still trying to force these trades. Trust me when I tell you, this is the one piece of advice I should be following myself as well. Whenever the context is not great from a trade, don't force these trades. There's a reason why you have these A+ setups. You have to stick to them. So that's the second thing. Really looking and journaling to seeing how you could have improved on them trades and if you should have even entered. The third part is actually reviewing the entire month. Now, one thing I do like to do, and I even tell my students as well, is at the end of the month, I want you to review two things. I want you to review your trades you've been in. I want you to review all the other possible trades that could have actually taken place throughout that entire month. Now, why do I say that? If I know statistically, I have around 8 to 10 trades in a month, and this is based on years and years of data, and we'll get into that in just a second. And by the way, I only want to give you actionable steps that will seriously impact you. It's not just going to be some things about philosophy and all this types of stuff. Again, them videos are great and I will even do them in the future. But I want to talk about actionable steps that will make a difference. So please, quick little cheeky plug, like and subscribe down below because I know there's going to be a lot of value that you guys are going to get from my channel. So please do that and stick around with the other videos. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. There's two things I want my students to look at. The trades they were in and the trades throughout the entire month that they were not in as well. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to hop on TradingView. You're going to look day by day. If you're an intraday trader just like myself, you're going to look on the 5-minute chart. Look at Asia session, look at London session, look at New York session. Could you have gotten into any trades? And on TradingView, you're going to monitor them. Take a screenshot of the trade and put it into your journal. Then you are going to, at the end of that sort of test or whatever, you're going to look and see, on the 1st of January, did I enter this trade? Why didn't I enter it? Well, because it was my psychology. I'm going to note that. The second part, 2nd of January, did I enter that trade or not? Eventually, you're going to build up this discipline where you've seen the trades that you're in and the trades that you've actually missed. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where if you know your strategy inside and out and you know it like the back of your hand, there's no reason why you shouldn't be entering. Eventually, this issue of psychology will start to decrease more and more and more. Now, the fourth part of what I want to actually speak to, I believe we're on the fourth. That's how you know it's completely unfiltered and completely raw. The fourth part of what you actually want to get into is perfecting your trades even further. So your A+ setup. If you journal every single trade out there, and this is why I say using tools like Notion or whatever it is, whether it's just your notes app or even in real life, you're just taking it in your notebook, seriously finding out what your trade plan is right now. And upon all of that reviews of the trading journal and everything like that, you actually look and see all of my losses have come because I never entered from a liquidity sweep. All of my wins have come because I entered from that sweep. So you've got to think to yourself, okay, 100% of my trades following this plan over here are winning, and 100% of the trades following this plan over here are losing. So that's when you're going to start to identify it. So just recapping everything. The first things first, stay back from the actual market. Completely stop trading. Once you enter a certain losing streak, you have to stay back because there's no amount of trades that's going to help you win all of them losses back. What you need to do is really evaluate what stage you are at the moment, what trades you're entering. Is it because of psychology? Is it because of your execution? Is it because of context? Is it because of trade management? Whatever it is, the ECT, I want you to stick to that. Every time you journal a trade, put ECT after, fill it in, and send a screenshot to me as well. I really want to see if any of you are actually following this. Best place to contact me is if you're in my email list, definitely check that down below. I daily sending out content and value and all this type of stuff, but reply to any of them emails. I actually do look through them. So definitely reach out to me over there. Now, we've identified all this type of stuff. Now, what happens if you do all of that and you still enter these losing streaks, just like myself? I do all the journaling. I've done all the testing in the past. I've done years and years of data. You won't even know how many months on end where daily my routine was literally, I complete the trading day, I get back to my desk a bit later on, once I've gone to the gym, once I've gone to wherever, and then I start to backtest throughout the entire day. I've gone through that entire path. I've gone through the exact path that you are probably trying to get through. I understand what position you've been in. So let me talk about how to deal with, once you've been through all of that, how to endure losses even then. Very simple. You take that time away, you start to look at your plan again, and once you feel ready and conditions are optimized, your context has to be perfect because you want your trade, once you come back, you want to hit the ground running. You want to enter with that A+ setup. Another thing as well is when you come back, I actually want you to treat it as a completely fresh period. The way I like to dissect my trading throughout the entire year is very simple. I like to do it with 12 months. Every single month has its results. So for example, if January had 3 losses in a row, that would be -3 risk to reward. But let me tell you what happened next. Once I actually came back with my entries and I found a nice little A+ setup, I finally got into that trade. And guess what? I wiped out all of the losses that I had before. Now, is that because I cherry picked that A+ setup? Yes. Is that because I waited for the correct context? Yes. Is that because I got any luck? Who knows? Everyone has a bit of luck from time to time. But eventually, once I got into that trade, because I followed my exact risk management plan, I followed my discipline and everything that I'm used to, at that point, I finally took that 1 to 3 risk to reward take profit. So all of them losses that I had taken in January were made back with one trade. And that's one thing that I want to give you guys a bit of inspiration. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there is. You are going to go through dark periods. I'm not talking about, yes, in real life and all this type of stuff, but in trading specifically, it's a very psychological game. It's a very mental game. In fact, some people would all even call it a mental warfare. Trading is one of the hardest things that you can actually do. Why is it that only 1% of funded traders or trying to be funded traders even get a payout? Why is it that only 7% of people taking challenges actually pass? You could see so many issues with psychology because everyone could be following a correct strategy. And bear in mind, every single strategy works. When I used to be trading the higher time frame, that worked. When I used to be trading the 1 to 20 risk to reward system that I used to have, that worked on the lower time frame. And now I'm trading a more consistent and mechanical edge, a 1 to 3 system that's very simple. It's repeatable over and over, and I'm still profitable, but I'm more profitable than ever. So that's the kind of cycle that you have to go through. Understand all of your strategy to a very, very good degree. And then eventually when you're ready, finally start to apply it further and further. Journal your trades. When you enter losing streaks, take a step back from the market, really look at where you're going wrong and where you can improve. Now, this is for the people that have stuck around to the end of this video, and something that honestly is probably one of the biggest tips that I've talked about throughout this entire journey. How is it that you know that you can get to a consistent trading plan? What are the exact steps? Well, to actually become consistent, these are the exact steps I'm going to give you. Number one, you need to put your strategy step by step with a checklist. So you can actually refer to it and think to yourself, okay, cool, this is exactly what I'm sticking to. Step number two, you need to go out and test out, back testing, at least 4 years of data. Now, why do I say 4 years of data? Because the way I usually go about it is I do 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. From that point onwards, I've got 8 pieces of data. Realistically, if you're sticking to a consistent trading plan, you're going to see the same type of setups over and over again. At that point, you're going to dissect your plan. If you've got different entry models, you're then going to dissect it into different presentations. One presentation over here is for your entry type 1, one presentation here for your entry type 2, and then one for entry type 3. At that point, you're going to journal everything. So this is step number 3, ECT, execution, context, trade management. Very, very simple. You have to break down every single trade. From that point onwards, you have got 4 years of data. Now, some of you might be thinking 4 years of data is not a lot. Trust me, when you're trading it on the 5-minute time frame, it's a lot, especially if you're doing 2 trading periods in a day, whether you're doing London or New York session. You're going to get, let's just say you do 4 trading days in a week. That's going to be across a month, about 16 trading sessions. 16 across 12 months as well. Across 4 years again, you're going to get plenty of data. Now, the final point is going to be this. Actually doing all of that again. So you've journaled everything. You've identified what your trading strategy is right now. Once you've journaled everything, you see where I could do all these improvements. And then finally, you get onto the point where you can actually do all of that once again. Now, the whole reason behind this is for what? You've already done this test before. Unless you're Einstein and your memory is amazing, I don't believe you're going to remember any of the trades you've been in because it's so much data that you've actually gone through. So you're going to do that data again. And from that point onwards, you should see an improved win rate. You should see an improved risk to reward. You should see a better average monthly return. From that point, you will actually start to see improvement. Now, you can do this as many times as you want. You can repeat it over and over again. And to be honest, this is actually something that I actually get all of my people within my bootcamp. We've just started recently. I do host this 3-month live bootcamp pretty much every single quarter. And we've just taken on our new batch of students. Week 1, we went through the education. We went through the strategy, the A+ setup, everything they need to be profitable. But why is it that people will still not be profitable from that? That's why we move on to week 2, which is testing. We take them through our own backtest that we've done in the past. And yes, testing is a certain stage, but we do need to go through that. And then eventually live testing it with them as well. From this point onwards, and this is really where the work begins for them, is I'm obligating every single one of them to do 4 years of backtesting results at first. From that point, obviously it's going to be in stages. From that point onwards, journal it, we review it, we check it. That's why it's always useful to have a mentor and stuff. Shameless plug. But really reviewing all of these types of trades. How does someone become consistent and how do they become profitable? It's very clear. You need to have a systematic approach. Just like how I studied architecture at university. They took me through the foundations at first. They then took me through how everything gets done in terms of technology, how everything gets done in terms of design. Then I went out and looked at case studies. Then I went out and actually tried it myself. Then I went out and did experience. All of these things, whatever industry you are within this entire, whatever career path you're in, you're going to have to take that systematic approach. And that's what I think so many people are lacking. They lack that systematic approach. They lack that approach where someone can actually push them through the entire way. So obviously, if you do want to be a part of that, again, we do take everyone through this entire 3-month cycle where we don't only just work for 3 months, we continue on with that as well. Again, live trading throughout the entire way, both London and New York session. It's as simple as that, to be honest. But just back to what I was saying. From the start of this video, the reality of what so many trading influencers don't talk about. I post my wins, I post my good trades, I post my educational concepts, my strategies, and so does every other trader. But what they don't post about is the losses. And this is exactly how you deal with it. Guys, we've been on here for a while, and this is possibly one of, I think, my only first one-to-one video where I'm talking face-to-face with you guys. I'm going to keep doing this. Let me know what you actually think of it down below. For those of you that actually want to take this a step further, check all the links down below in my description. But most importantly, like and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing out a lot more value to you guys, whether it's technical, whether it's fundamental information, whether it's psychological information. Again, I'm a trader who's in this. I've only been in this for some years now, and I know that my trading journey is only going to continue further and further. And in a way, I really want to keep this transparent. I want to use this platform like some sort of journal myself. I'm not going to hide any of the losers. I'm not going to hide any of the wins, because ultimately I know that if I'm trading my system that works consistently, I know that I am going to be able to be profitable at the end of the day. The goal, like I said, is you look at everything on a month-to-month basis. If one month was a losing month, just like my January, February came back and took that 3 risk reward and made that all back. And I know that's the way it's going to run even from now as well. It's not the first time that I've entered the losing streak. It's not going to be the last time as well. So that's one thing I want you to understand. Trading is not perfection. Trading is all about mastering your mindset. Just a quick final note. That's why so many people fail with these challenges, because they do not have that exact system that they stick to, and they don't know how to endure during these losses. So that's the final thing I want to say. ECT, stick to that as much as possible. If you need guidance, obviously check the links down below. And of course, if you want to get funded, if you want to backtest, all that sort of stuff is going to be down below. And yeah, it's going to be as simple as that, guys. So please click on one of the areas over here for the next video. I actually go through one of my A+ setups. So if you want to get into something that's a bit more technical, click one of these videos over here, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, guys.